Oh no. Yes! 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 Go! Yes! It's Keely fucking Ringo! Oh my god, it's Keely fucking Ringo! Oh my god! We did it! We fucking did it,
Holy
bitches!
shit! Holy shit!
We fucking did it, bitches!
Oh my god!
We fucking did it! We fucking did it! We fucking
Yeah,
did
yeah,
it!
yeah, we get
I
it.
can't breathe, dude.
We fucking did it, Allison!
First and goal from the 9. They flip it to Lamb McConkey. Lamb McConkey scores the first touchdown of the season for Georgia. He can go.
Game day, baby! My Georgia Bulldogs.
Buddy Ballard here, another great day in the books for Alabama.
Woo!
Yes, sir. How you doing, Chess?
We're live, baby. The Unprofessional Sports Show. I'm good, man.
That's awesome, man. Welcome to another week. Welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Sports Show, where two unprofessionals go at it head to head, talking pretty much all things college football. We had another great weekend, Chess, and had some close calls, some blowouts, one or two upsets. What's your takeaway from this weekend?
Man, college football has not been crazy since the 2007 season, but this season right here is looking not as bad as that one, crazy wise. But we had some good game, Ballard. You want to go ahead and get into these freaking games, sir?
Yeah, what would you like to start with?
All right, let's see. Let's go with what about? We'll bring up our teams last. What
All right.
about Penn State blowing out Auburn 41-12 at Jordan Hare?
I'm embarrassed as an Alabama fan because of that game. Honestly, I mean, I
Dude,
should be embarrassed.
I thought that Auburn at home was an immovable force or an immovable object. Man,
Yeah,
they could hit the broadside of a barn, man. Like I don't understand what's wrong with Auburn. Is it like I said
speaking
like
of,
yeah, go ahead.
like, what's your take on this whole Brian Harson hot seat? Do you think he's going to make it through the season?
Oh yeah, obviously he is. They just need to work out some kinks. I don't know, man. He's not looking good at all. But hopefully he can work things out. I mean, it's bad if you're an Auburn fan right now. I'd be embarrassed. I wouldn't even wear the Auburn colors out in public if I'm being honest here.
All right, I got
What
you.
what is your take on the game there, Ballard?
Well, you had Penn State 41-12 at Jordan Hare Stadium, and you could look at this many different ways. You could sit there and say Auburn's a terrible team or doesn't know what they're doing. You could say that and maybe to an extent be right. But dude, I think Penn State's on the rise this year. What do you think?
I do think they are on the rise. Do I see them as a playoff contender? No, I do not. If I'm being
Not
honest
yet.
here, not yet. But Penn State is on the rise, and they should do good. Uh, further, I mean, going further. But what about this, Ballard? Oregon bounces back from their week one demolishing from Georgia and beats number 19th ranked BYU 41-20. Bo Nix balling for Oregon, looking good.
Looking very good. He was 13 of 15, 222 yards, two touchdowns, and no picks. Jaron Hall did pretty good too. 29 of 41, 308 yards, and two touchdowns. The Oregon defense just really stepped it up there within the first and third quarters, even in the second one. BYU looked like they were starting to make somewhat of a comeback in the fourth quarter. They had 13 points and outscored the Ducks 13-3 in the fourth quarter alone. But I'll tell you what, Bo Nix had three rushing touchdowns in this game.
Hmm.
And I know we kind of clowned on him when he was at Auburn. Here's the thing about Bo Nix, man. I like the guy. I do think he's a good quarterback. He was a 5-star recruit, believe it or not. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but I don't know, man. I think if you put him in the right system, you put him on the right team, and even if he's on the right team in the NFL, you think he could be a star someday?
Possibly. I mean, he's shown his stardom. I mean, he had crazy things last year when he played uh, for Auburn, or the last time he played for Auburn. But I don't know. I think he's got to get out of his own head. The guy's just not doing good. I think he was a starter at Auburn all years he was there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And uh, no, I'm not, Jerry. I haven't been watching it, but I don't know. I think he needs to get out of his own way. And maybe Oregon can do this for him. Maybe, Oregon can push him to the NFL. Do I think he's a first rounder? No, but I could see him going, maybe early or late in the second round.
Yeah, he helped convert three of three fourth downs for Oregon, put up 439 yards of total offense in this game. 227 were passing for the Ducks. Oregon only had one turnover in the game. BYU had none. What they did right, though, was they were able to score on every possession pretty much that they had. They took advantage of it. They let in yardage, they let in first downs, and they were able to keep time of possession within their territory. So,
Yeah,
uh, Oregon did pretty well. I like where things are going, and I think Dan Lanning is going to be the guy. I really think so.
I do. He's didn't look good week one, but we all knew that was a mismatch. I mean, from the get go. But anyways, Ballard, what about uh dude, there are so many blowouts this week. Not even kidding.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna run through some of these blowouts. So you had number six Oklahoma beat the crap out of Nebraska, 49-14. Do you think Nebraska will be better since Scott Frost was fired? I don't.
I mean, it's going to take some time. I don't know if Mickey Joseph is the long term answer, who was their, I believe, defensive coordinator who stepped up.
Yeah,
So I think you have to get better after Scott Frost. Like, there's no way to get any worse, and it's only up from there for Nebraska. But at the same time, it's like um, you don't know how they're going to get better. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And some of these other blowouts, like Michigan, number four Michigan, 59-0 against Connecticut. Michigan looking really good. Oh, what about Ole Miss beating Georgia Tech 42-0? Now, Ole Miss beating Georgia Tech that bad, and the way Clemson played against them, does this show that Clemson's really stepped back a whole bunch since the last time they went into the national championship?
They have definitely taken steps back, and I think it's the offense. I think the defense is phenomenal. I think the offensive line has some issues for Clemson, and I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm not saying DJ's terrible. I don't think he's the guy for Clemson. I think they need to go with Cade Klubnik, the freshman, or someone. I'm trying to remember who else they got, but there's a couple different names on that roster that they need to give a shot at quarterback to, but I think Dabo Swinney just wants to um, stick to the more experienced. DJ's the guy. We love him. Blah blah blah. he needs to just grow a pair and just cut his losses with DJ. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you, man. DJ is not the guy. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's had so much hype built on him since he come to Clemson.
Hmm.
Does DJ possibly transfer out if he can and go to another school and possibly do any better?
I think
Hey,
so. I think it depends on where he goes as far as like if he'll do better or not.
if he goes to the SEC, more luck to him because he's going to get destroyed. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So some more blowouts. We had Ohio State, CJ Stroud, 77-21 over Toledo. Tennessee looking really good, 63-6 over Akron. No, it's
Yeah.
Akron, but Hendon Hooker looking really good. What else we had? Now this one right here was a nail biter towards the end. Arkansas 38, Missouri State 30 or no 27.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman not looking too good in this game, but they got the win in the end. I, I'm still on the Sam Pittman train. I think he's doing really good as a head coach. I like KJ Jefferson. I think he's a great quarterback. He's very agile, can move, can take hits. But does does Sam Pittman have a winning record by the end of this year? Do you think so, Valerie? I think so.
I think so too, man. I think it's Arkansas is on the climb right now. They're going up. They're doing some great things. 27 points to Missouri State at home though. Like there's obviously some issues defensively that they need to work out, but I think they can definitely turn it around and get it together.
Yeah. Speaking of turning around or not turning around, actually turning around, bending over, and spreading your cheeks and getting kicked right in the butthole. Florida, number 20,
Yes.
barely beats South Florida, 31-28.
We're
Now,
screen sharing this one. Let me find it real quick, but keep
now,
talking.
now, AR-15. I thought everybody thought he was the answer. Am I still worried about playing Florida? Of course, I'm still worried about playing Florida because it's the Florida Georgia game, and every year it's sometimes it's competitive, sometimes it's not. They can still sneak up on you, but Florida might be one of the worst SEC teams that I've seen this year, besides maybe Vanderbilt or Missouri.
They practically got shut out in the second half, outside of a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and they let South Florida come back on them a little bit there. Anthony Richardson was 10 of 18 for 112 yards. That's not the issue. What was the issue? He had two interceptions, dude, and I don't know who they need to go with going forward, but I'm starting to really reconsider, and I think Florida fans and Florida themselves should too. I don't think AR-15 is the guy.
I don't either, man. I that Billy Napier, I don't know, man. I know he's a first year head coach, but dude, I haven't seen Florida look this bad since Felipe Franks was the quarterback.
I forget about him.
I'm sure Florida fans do too, but anyways, doesn't matter. Screw Florida. Now, this matchup was actually pretty decent, Ballard. Texas A&M, the Aggies, beats number 25 Miami 17-9. Very competitive game. Very competitive game. Jimbo's doing pretty good with that team. They had a big loss last week, but they bounced back this week and beat Miami. I do still have Miami penciled in to win the ACC, but they're going to have to win out for sure. But Texas A&M looked really good. I don't know if you watched this game, Ballard, but I did. It actually was a decent game.
I was at work during this game. Otherwise, I would have been live for it. So I did an earlier game in the day. But I went back and saw highlights. I looked at the stats. This was a game of defense, man, which I love. I love some good defense in college football. Got to give credit to the Aggies. I think they used the home crowd to their advantage. And I think coming off a loss, too, kind of gives you momentum, kind of you want to bounce back, you want to redeem yourself, and I think they did that here. Miami, it's their first loss. We expected them to take a loss somewhere. I don't know if we expected them to take a loss Texas A&M, but you it's nothing to hang your head on. Just kind of be proud of your defense, not so much your offense. They really couldn't do anything there. Had trips to the red zone. Aggies were able to shut them out, and so just got
Yeah,
to give credit to Texas A&M.
actually, Jerry, yeah, I called him the other day. He was he don't really
Oh,
care. It
you
doesn't
talking
matter.
about Unc?
Yeah, love you, mean buddy. Now, Ballard, let's go ahead and get into your game before you start talking. What is going on in the Alabama camp over there? So many penalties, and Bryce Young throwing two picks. I know you beat Louisiana Monroe 63-7, man, but you got to be unhappy with the way your offensive line played.
Yeah, I mean, I just when I thought it was starting to get good, then you had the Texas game, and then against Louisiana Monroe. My gosh, I mean, first off, all the Alabama fans on social media are calling for Bill O'Brien to be fired, hoping that he takes a job somewhere as a head coach at Nebraska or something long term, and um, you could take him, you could take Pete Golding with you too, even though I love our defense. We did some things right in this game, though. How about Will Anderson? You see it here. How about him, the big man, getting a pick six, the first of his career, Chess?
Dude, Will Anderson's probably one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive player this year. One of the best returning linebackers in college. Well, Anderson's a beast, man. We had a trouble against him last year in the national championship, but that kid's a beast, man. And we might have him on our Heisman list. You have to find out later in the show, but
Yeah,
props to him.
we had a punt return, and even got Ty Simpson out there, who's our 5-star freshman quarterback. He got to throw his first touchdown pass in this game, so shout out to him. And the Chess, we move on. What other games you want to look at?
Well, let's get to my game. Georgia beats the cock, literally 48-7. Stetson Bennett 16 of 23 for 284 passing yards, two TDs, and zero interceptions. Uh, let's see. Who else we had? Brock Bowers had one carry, 5 yards, and a touchdown. Actually, he had two touchdowns. Man, Brock Bowers. Is it safe to say that Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the country?
I don't even think it's close, dude.
The kid is freaking amazing. I love Darnell Washington. I love Arik Gilbert. I love both those guys to death. But Brock Bowers has really proven himself since his freshman year. And just think, Ballard, we got him for next year too. That's insane.
Yeah,
So we've had the best tight end for 2 years in a row now. Going to be three next year. The kid's a beast. Stetson Bennett's definitely he's surpassing what he done last year in the national championship year. This offense is probably, I'm going to say, one of the top three offenses in the nation right now. Would you agree?
I think them, Alabama, and Ohio State definitely 1A, 1B, 1C, however you want to put it. And it's incredible to see what Kirby Smart's done at Georgia, especially with the defense. But dude, how is it, man, that this offense has kind of escalated how it has with Stetson Bennett at quarterback, a walk on who won you a championship? I mean, I remember us on this show talking about you need to bench Stetson Bennett. If I see him take the field, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you just, now he's the guy. You don't want to bench him. And
Mm-mm.
when are we ever going to get an offense for Georgia? You got it now, buddy.
This is probably one of the best offenses I've seen out of Georgia since Aaron, or not Aaron. Aaron Murray had an okay offense, but not as good as this one. We got
Yeah.
we got Brock Bowers, we got Kenny McIntosh, even Lad McConkey. If your name's Lad McConkey, did you ever think a Lad McConkey would be kicking ass in college football? No.
In fact, he was probably getting his tail kicked in high
Yeah,
school
maybe.
for that
But
name.
yeah, but maybe. Let's move on to next week's games. Week 4, we're going to go ahead and start out with the game of the week, Ballard. Game day is going to Knoxville. You got number
Yeah.
11 Tennessee versus Florida. Let me get my thoughts out first, and I'll give you yours.
All right.
Hendon Hooker needs to go off on this game. He needs to go off on this Florida defense that's straight trash. Um, I definitely think they need to run the ball. Florida's definitely shown they can't stop the run. Uh, and what if Florida has to do to this to win this game is just don't fumble the ball because Tennessee's defense is not that good. They're really not. Their offense is their bread and butter. And Ballard, man, I got Tennessee winning this game like 35-24.
Yeah, I think definitely this is going to be a good game. I'm excited for a lot of different games this week. I'm gonna say, yeah, dude, I think Tennessee just pulls away with it in the second half. I don't think Florida's back to having a defense, but Hendon Hooker for Tennessee, man, I don't think he's like Heisman conversation, but you could, I mean, he's going to get better every single week. Let's see what happens, but I'm going to say 45-23, and I think Tennessee wins it.
I like that pick. So let's see. I'm trying to. There's a lot of cupcake games. Now here's a good one, Ballard. Number 23 Texas A&M and number 10 Arkansas. Arkansas moving up to. I never thought Arkansas would be in the top 10 ever anymore. Uh,
Right.
like I've been saying, Arkansas. I'm still a huge Arkansas supporter. Sam Pittman's doing his thing. I believe Arkansas gets it done against Texas A&M. I don't think Jimbo might have all those recruits and stuff, but those recruits ain't doing a damn thing for him. So give me Arkansas in this game. And I'm going to put it big. I think KJ Jefferson goes off. I'm going to say 41-24 Arkansas. What about you, Ballard?
Dang. It is neutral field.
Yes.
Arkansas is still undefeated. The only thing that I said, because I kind of, this and the Florida Tennessee game we talked about on my live stream last night. The only thing I said, man, Arkansas is bound to lose a couple games this year somewhere along the line. And I just think that the Texas A&M Aggies are going to have more of an advantage in this game, just a little bit. I think they play it close. I got to disagree with you here. I got to go with the Aggies, but give it to me 35-28.
I respect your honesty on that one.
Right.
Next we got number 21 Wake Forest and Clemson.
Oh,
DJ's
that's
D,
good.
that's gonna be a good one. I think DJ has to step up this game. If DJ throws at least 2 picks or doesn't look good, yank his ass out of the game. Get him out of the game. I'm pretty sure Clemson's favored in this game. I know they are. What can Wake Forest do to win this game, Ballard? What do you think Wake Forest has to do to win this game?
Just be who they are. Just go out there with Sam Hartman. Use the home field crowd to your advantage, and just go out there and put up the offense that we're used to seeing from them. They're 2-0 right now, or 3-0. I'm sorry. So is Clemson. I think Clemson has the edge defensively, but if they can find ways to pick apart the defense, I think they have a chance. The line's only 7.5. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to say I got Clemson winning it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Wake Forest got it done. This might be the game, and you could be right. If there is at any point where truly DJ is having the worst game of his career, if there's any defense out there right now, I do kind of like Wake Forest defense, especially against the run. Um, to, I guess you could say, mess with DJ Uiagalelei. So, but I think Clemson's going to win.
I got you. Next game. This is not really going to be a big game, but I want to talk about this team, Kentucky, number 8 Kentucky, who I think is possibly the third best team in the East, right behind Tennessee. Goes against Northern Illinois. Now I think this is going to be a blowout, man. But do you think Kentucky has a real shot to win in the East this year, Ballard? I think Georgia beats them, obviously, but Kentucky, man, they're beating their chest. They're saying, "Hey, we want in the college football playoffs. We want in the SEC title. Let us in." You know what I mean?
I think the chance. I think they're a team that could keep getting better and keep beating their chest a little bit. I just don't think they have to get past Georgia, and I don't think that's likely.
Yeah, this feels like 2 years ago when they were doing really good, and then they came up and faced Georgia, and we absolutely demolished them because they didn't really play anybody. But I mean, it is what it is. What other games do we got here? Let's get into your game, Ballard. You got number 2 Alabama versus Vanderbilt. Go ahead and get into that game, my brother.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it more on Friday, but just to kind of go into detail about it, I like Vanderbilt this year. I really do. I think that Swan and Davis and Shepard, they got some great playmakers on offense. They got a pretty good offensive line, pretty solid. I think the offensive line, though, is going to falter this week. I think Will Anderson and Byron Young, Dallas Turner and company, Tim Smith, Justin Eboigbe, I mean, you name it. Any Alabama players out there? I mean, I think this will be one of those games we're up big, and maybe we do put our second and third strings in the game yet again. And no disrespect to Vanderbilt, I mean they're scoring 42 points a game. That's pretty darn close to what Alabama's averaging at 46. The only thing is their defense is struggling a bit as they're giving up 28 and a half points a game. Alabama only allowing 8.7 Chess Hall.
Now
So,
let me ask you this, Ballard, and you're pretty fair about this. If Vanderbilt scores 14 or 21 on you guys, are you worried at all?
I mean, if it happens in multiple games, it has to happen in multiple games. Like if because you're not going to have a perfect game every single week. So
Mhm.
if we give up two or three different touchdowns in this game, right? Even if we score 50 or 40 points like we have been, um, that's okay. I'd be okay with it. I understand it. It's Vanderbilt. And maybe we look at Vanderbilt and say maybe their offense is legit. I want to look at Vanderbilt after this game going forward. And I also want to see if this was just a bad day for Alabama's defense a little bit. And then how are they going to, answer from this game um, going forward? So I guess it kind of depends on how these teams do going forward, and then we look back on it and maybe there's some concern.
For sure. Now, that's all the games I really wanted to get into. Ballard, are there any games that you want to look into this week?
I don't think so, man. I think we covered the basic teams. We
Uh,
covered your team. We covered Clemson. We covered
oh, we
Bama.
didn't cover my. I didn't cover my team. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. We beat Kent State 55-7 or nothing 3, whatever.
Okay.
Continuing, but Ballard, I believe Ballard is going to put out a poll for you guys in the comment section here in a minute. We have our Heisman picks right now. Now we have 5 picks. Me and Ballard agreed on one as our dark horse. Um, we're gonna narrow it down to 3, and we're gonna put those 3 in the comments section. You guys vote on who do you think takes it away this year, and then we're also gonna have our playoffs. Who's the 4 teams in our playoffs? So, Ballard, because it's your channel, friend. Well, I'll let you pick your first pick, and we'll just go back and forth.
For
The Heisman.
Well, Bryce Young, I would love to see him go back to back. That hasn't happened really since Archie Griffin. So I really don't think it's going to happen. But I like a guy like CJ Stroud right now 941 yards, 72% completion, great offensive line protection. He has no picks, he's only taken 2 sacks. He's got 11 touchdowns, and he's leading one of the top scoring offenses in the nation right now.
Okay, I like that pick. I like that pick. I'm gonna throw one back at you. J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback.
Ooh,
He has an 88.3 percentage completion, and he also threw three touchdowns against in his first start against Hawaii. I know it's Hawaii, but throwing three touchdowns in your first start, that is a Heisman watch right there. If I haven't seen one. What about your next one, Ballard?
hold on. I'm getting a poll for the people.
Okay. Well, we got to narrow it down to three first, though. But
Oh, man, I already created it. I put at least my top three, and then if other, type in the comments.
okay,
But that's
yeah.
okay. So I had CJ Stroud number one, Bryce Young number two, 644 yards, 68.2 completion percentage, nine touchdowns, two interceptions, and four sacks this year. That offensive line has got to pick it up. Got to let those sack numbers, they're not going to take them off, but I think four sacks, in my personal opinion, for a quarterback, I mean, doesn't that seem like a red flag in your opinion?
It does, but it shows that the offensive line needs work, and I'm pretty sure they'll definitely work those kinks out before the year's over with. I mean, let's just be honest here, man. Bama's not going nowhere. They're always going to be around. They're there. They got a permanent ticket to the SEC championship game or the playoffs. But I just think y'all's offensive line needs a little bit of work, and I'm sure Nick Saban can get the kinks out. So that was your number two. My number two is also C.J. Stroud. Saturday, he threw for 367 yards. Holy crap! And five total touchdowns. He registered nearly 800 yards of total offense against whoever the fudgy Toledo. C.J. Stroud's looking really good this year, and Ohio State's looking to make a run for the playoffs. So I got C.J. Stroud as my number two. Who's your number three, Ballard?
Got to go Caleb Williams.
Oh, nice one.
74 percent completion percentage. His team is averaging around 40 to 60 points a game. You say whatever you want to about the competition of the Pac 12. This guy is still a baller, good in the pocket, great protection on the offensive line. I think it has stepped up for the Trojans. He's got 874 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. He's got no picks. Although, and I take back what I said about his O line. Here's the red flag on Caleb Williams. Guess how many sacks he's already taken?
Six.
Oh, you were so close. He's actually taken 7 sacks.
Dang, man, that offensive line needs some work, my friend.
Yeah. Um, But he is a good talent, and I think that it could improve. I think their line could improve throughout the season. I think Lincoln Riley's that guy, that offensive minded guy. They got a pretty interesting defense, too, to help them out. I know you can't base it off of their first 3 games. They played Rice, Stanford, and Fresno State, but
Mm-hmm.
looking pretty good so far, looking sharp, and I think that Caleb Williams, if he could just keep his poise and composure, he could be on track for a Heisman.
For sure. Now, my third pick, I never thought I would say this. Hendon Hooker for Tennessee.
Oh,
The dude is throwing 41 touchdown passes on 2 interceptions. He leads college football in that ratio. Their offense is looking really good. Their defense needs definitely some work. But Hendon Hooker's definitely putting it out there that he wants to compete for the East this year. And I'll be honest with you, Ballard. I'm looking at the rest of our schedule right now. I'm worried about Tennessee, man. And I haven't been worried about Tennessee in a long time.
hey, you're talking to an Alabama fan. I'm worried about Tennessee too. That's a good rivalry. I think we get them. Where do we get them this year? Home?
It's
No,
at Tennessee, I
I think
think.
we got to go to Knoxville.
Yeah,
We
it
got to
is.
play on the road in the SEC. So
Dude, we got him at home, so I'm happy about that.
yeah,
So
but
who's
I'd
your
be worried.
yeah? Who's your number four there, brother?
Number four on my Heisman list is Will Anderson.
That's a good pick, man. He's a freaking beast, and he's a comment down on the penalties. But besides that, man, he's the best linebacker in the country right now. Um, and this is his what senior year, right, or is his junior year?
He's a junior.
He's definitely going to NFL. He'll definitely go in the first round for sure. But I definitely respect that. Now, Ballard, you're going to laugh at my next one. Go
All
ahead and
right.
get the chuckles out, you little bastard. You, I know you are. Number four, I have the
Stetson.
man, the myth, the legend,
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett the fourth.
I know.
And here's why: the guy has not looked bad in all three of his games. He threw dimes against Oregon. He threw dimes against South Carolina. Uh, the dude just looks amazing, and
Yeah.
he's only played 2.5 quarters. The dude's a fucking beast.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
he's very accurate. The dude might not can throw 50 or 60 yards, but he hasn't thrown any interceptions. I'm pretty sure he's only been sacked once or twice, which is a beast, to be honest with you. And I could see him being, considered, but do I think he'll win it? No, because he's not really Heisman material. But yeah, that's my number four. Who's your fifth and final there, Ballard?
You mentioned his name a little bit. I got to go Tennessee's Hendon Hooker is a dark horse.
I definitely get you, man, dude. He's doing really good at Tennessee. I'll give him that, man. Now,
Look, the only red flag is that he does already have 5 sacks on the year, but he's got no picks. This dude can read the defense. He knows to throw the ball away sometimes, and he can find his receivers really, really well. Their lead receivers already got over 200 yards. Their running backs got over 200 yards. He's a good leader for an offense, I think.
yeah, and I think, do he believe this? Now, I didn't do this on purpose. I just think this is the way the cards lie. My dark horse for a Heisman is the best tight end in the country, Brock Bowers. Listen to these insane stats, bro.
Yeah.
Against South Carolina, he went for 121 yards, 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
His stats for 2022: 10 catches, 216 yards, averages 21.6 yards per carry, and has 2 touchdowns. And his longest touchdown is 78.
Wow.
When is this kid going to be considered for the Heisman? When? I mean, he didn't win the whatever the award is for tight ends last year. I get it because he was a freshman. He's definitely penciled in to win that award this year. But if you have him on your team, you're solid gold. The guy hasn't made any mistakes. He's fast, he's agile, and he's just a freaking beast, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely should enter the conversation, and as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to be Stetson's go-to guy.
Yep, I definitely see why Jermaine Burton left and went to Bama. Screw you, Jermaine Burton, by the way. Can't stand him. My favorite player had to leave. What a jerk hole. So, Ballard, let's go ahead and get into our playoffs. I'm going to tell you my playoffs. I'm going to tell you my playoffs. So this is not in any particular order. I'm just going to throw it out there. I got Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan. That is my 4-team playoff right there, my friend.
I got to agree with those teams and put them in whatever order. I think those are the four best teams right now. We pretty much just did that based off the rankings without really even looking. Those are still the top four. I like, well, I don't know, man. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, definitely. The fourth spot, I think if USC keeps it up, man,
Mm-hmm.
let's say if they win the Pac 12, could they get in?
They could maybe get him because one of those teams, either Ohio State or Michigan, is going to have one loss to the record because they play each other. And
Right.
that game is going to be exciting. I want to watch that game. That's a game that I definitely want to see and want to watch. I just think C.J. Stroud is just better than Michigan's quarterback. Man, Michigan was good last year, and what did
Yeah.
they do in the playoffs? They laid a big fat goose egg. They got their ass whipped.
Yeah.
Michigan,
The
I, they,
Georgia of all teams. Anyway,
okay,
go on.
you shut your mouth hole. We won it all. Shut up. Uh, but if I'm being honest, man, Georgia and Bama, I think it's Georgia and Bama, and there's a drop off because I don't think Ohio State has a defense. They don't. They're not known for defenses over there. They have a high score. They're like Oklahoma, I think. Oklahoma has a very high scoring offense, but their defense is not really their main priority. Do I see USC maybe getting in? Yeah, Lincoln Riley's doing really good at that school. He's doing very good. But more than likely, I think you're going to have a one loss, either Michigan or Ohio State in the playoffs with Georgia and Bama. And then, it is what but it's whatever. But it's a crazy, crazy year this year, man. I'm just excited to have college football back, man. Like this is our shit right here, man. They don't know how much we
Yeah.
care.
The
Uh,
top, let me tell you this. In the
yeah,
new AP poll, we're not going to go through like what teams. I mean,
yeah.
I guess we can mention a couple like Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Tennessee. The first 12 are all 3-0.
And
That
that'll
you talk about, and we're fixing to have a 12-team playoff. I know that they have a certain system, but imagine if we did a 12-team playoff with the top 12 ranked teams. We would have teams in there like NC State, Arkansas, Kentucky's in there, Tennessee, Clemson, Michigan, Oklahoma, USC, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. I mean, the whole 9 yards. How cool would that be?
that would actually be really, really neat. But I'm not really excited about the 12. I don't really like a 12 team playoff, to be honest with you, man. I because you're going to get a bunch of blowouts, which I mean, that's college football in general sometimes. But I
Yeah,
just Chris Brave brings up an interesting point. He said, "If I'm being honest, Chess, it's y'all and a drop off for now. Y'all would kick our butts if we played right now." I honestly don't think so, Chris Brave. I mean, y'all's offense, our defense is really good, but I believe y'all's offensive line could handle Georgia's defensive rush easily. I don't want to play Bama right now. I want to get in some more reps. Uh, AIP Dog says, "Does anybody think that USC QB Caleb Williams can win the Heisman?" I mean, he looks good, man. Yeah, Ballard had him on his. Did you have him on your Heisman list or no?
yeah, I had him. I think third or fourth.
I could definitely see him on that Heisman list. I definitely see. Okay, this is if I'm being honest here. Here's the actual Heisman list. How many people? How many people do they choose through? Like three or four, right, Ballard? Or is it four?
I think so. Are you talking about like how many people show up at the ceremony?
Yeah, isn't it like four or three? I can't remember.
I think we get down to like a final four.
Okay, so if I'm being honest here, it's going to be Bryce Young, I believe Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, and that four spot could be anybody. I'm not saying it's going to be a Stetson. I'm not saying it's going to be a Brock Bowers, but it might be Will Anderson. Who
Yeah,
knows? You never know, dude. I mean, more than likely a quarterback's going to win it because it's mostly a quarterback award. I mean, realistically, but I definitely could see Caleb Williams being in there. But I think the first time that Caleb Williams plays an SEC defense, I think he'll get slaughtered. If I'm being honest here, Michigan found that out last year. So, but
think about last year for a second with the
yeah,
Heisman, real quick.
hmm
You know who was there at the ceremony?
all I know was Bryce Young was there. That's the only one I know.
Bryce Young was there. C.J. Stroud. I'm trying to remember who else, but remember Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan got in.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson was really good.
Now, hold on,
Yeah,
because I'm thinking, and I make a good point, man. If Will Anderson does not falter too much, if he can clean up the penalties and get better and better and better, he'll have a trip to New York later this season.
I
I hope.
yeah. I mean, I want a Georgia player to be for the Heisman. I'd rather win a Natty if I'm being honest here.
Yeah,
But there hasn't been a Georgia quarterback look for the Heisman since I don't know what Matthew Stafford was quarterback. Aaron Murray didn't even get a look at the Heisman at all. Aaron Murray's
that's
the last quarterback. That's crazy because Aaron Murray was really good. But
yeah,
yeah, since Matthew Stafford, I would love more than likely if Georgia does have a Heisman person there, I'd probably say Brock Bowers because I don't think Stetson Bennett would just fit in. I love Stetson Bennett to death. I trash talk the shit out of the guy, but he's jammed it down my throat literally. And
yeah,
I think last year was his year to prove everybody that he could get it done. And I think this year is he's trying to prove everybody that he could still get it done, that he's not done yet. Which we haven't seen what Georgia does when they're backed into a corner, and I don't want to see that to be honest with you. But we'll see if we bend or break. You never know. But yeah, Will Anderson could definitely be in the could be in there. Ballard, I mean,
yeah, man. I hope
uh,
so.
uh, I hope not. I want at least a Georgia. It'd be cool if there was a Bama, Georgia, a Tennessee, and just a random Ohio State guy. That'd be hilarious.
That would
But
be awesome. Three
uh,
SEC players, you imagine?
well, SEC runs it all, man. I don't care what anybody says. SEC is the main conference. We've won the most titles. We're the most dominant. Uh, I mean, we're gonna lose. I mean, not lose, but we're gonna Texas and Oklahoma coming over to the SEC, which is gonna suck because I can't stand Oklahoma. I hope they're in the fucking East. I really do. I hope they're in the East because I want to beat the shit out of them. But um, it's whatever. So, you got anything else you want to talk about, Ballard, or you want to wrap this shindig up?
Nah, man, it was just another great weekend of college football filled with upsets and amazing finishes. And I'm looking forward to this next weekend ahead. Looking forward to meeting some of our fellow Alabama YouTubers at Bryant Denny in Tuscaloosa this Saturday for the Vandy game. Be my first Alabama game, and a lot of great stuff coming to the channel too. So y'all stay tuned.
Yeah, man. Next week, Unprofessional Sports Show is live on my channel.
Yep.
Thank you, Ballard, for another great show. Love you, brother. Mean it.
Love you.
That intro is amazing. We're also going to use that as our outro because why not? But I'm TikTok Chess Hall.
I'm Ballard Sports Media.
We love you guys. God bless you. Put God first in everything you do. Ballard, hit him with that amazing outro, my friend.
Yes, sir. Roll
Peace out,
Tide.
y'all. Go Dogs.
First and goal from the 9. They flip it to Lad McConkey. Lad McConkey scores the first touchdown of the season for Georgia.
Game day, baby. Bye, Georgia Bulldogs.
Buddy Ballard here at